Hello, everyone. My name is Chayan. We're here to cover unit HLTWHS001, participate in workplace health and safety. So this is an essential topic that impacts everyone in the workplace, workplace health and safety. This session will focus on the unit HLTWS001, like I just stated before. We'll explore how we can work together to create a safer, healthier, more productive environment for everybody in the workplace. I don't know if you can see the image on the screen behind the heading there. You see a powerful reminder. This is a powerful reminder of how quickly accidents can happen when safety is overlooked. A wet floor, for instance, might seem like a minor inconvenience at first glance, but it can lead to serious injuries if not addressed. So this scenario reflects just one of many risks that workplaces face every day. Workplace health and safety isn't just about rules and regulations, it's about fostering a culture of care where we all take responsibility for identifying hazards, preventing accidents, and protecting each other. Throughout this session, I will cover a wide range of topics, including how to recognize potential hazards, report safety concerns, follow organizational safety procedures, and respond effectively to incidents when they occur. Before we start, I just want to show recognition to the first inhabitants of the land. So, in the spirit of reconciliation, Hale Institute of Education acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and the connection to land, sea, and community. We recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as the first inhabitants of this nation and the traditional custodians of the land on which we work, live, and study. We express our gratitude for the sharing of this land, our sorrow for the personal, spiritual, and cultural cost of that sharing, and hope that we may move forward together in harmony and in the spirit of healing. We pay our respects to all First Nations people and acknowledge elders past, present, and future. Okay, so just want to go for an overview of our session for today. So we'll focus on two key areas that are vital for ensuring workplace health and safety. First, we'll explore the legal rights and responsibilities. So, in this section, we'll provide an understanding of the legal framework that governs workplace safety. I'll also talk about the obligations of both employers and employees under workplace health and safety laws. I'll also talk about how these laws are designed to protect everyone in the workplace and ensure accountability at all levels. Next, we'll examine hazards and risks. This section will focus on identifying potential dangers in the workplace, assessing the risk they pose, and implementing strategies to minimize or eliminate them. By understanding how to recognize and address these risks, we can prevent accidents and create a safer working environment. These two areas are interconnected, so forming the foundation of effective workplace health and safety practices. As we go through each topic, I want you guys to think about how these concepts apply to your own workplace experience and how you can use this knowledge to make a positive impact. As we move into the first key area of our session, let's talk about the rights and responsibilities in workplace health and safety. This concept lies at the heart of maintaining a safe working environment for everyone. Every individual in the workplace, whether an employer, manager, or employee, has both rights and responsibilities when it comes to safety. For employees, this includes the right to work in a safe environment, free from hazards that could cause harm. It also includes the rights to receive proper training, information, and protective equipment necessary for your role. At the same time, employees have responsibilities as well. These include following workplace safety procedures, using equipment safely, and reporting hazards or incidents, and also actively participating in creating a safe environment for everybody. It's not just about protecting yourself, it's also about ensuring the safety of your fellow workers. Employers, on the other hand, have legal responsibilities to provide a safe workplace. This includes identifying potential risks, implementing control measures, and ensuring that employees are well informed and trained in health and safety practices. Next, we're going to take a closer look at workplace safety from the perspective of an employer. The quote on the slide from Sally Powell, who is the chief executive at Bedford, emphasizes a crucial point. By having a safe workplace, we get the best out of our people. This statement highlights the significant role that safety plays in fostering productivity, morale, and well-being within the organization. When employers prioritize safety, it creates a positive work environment where employees feel valued and protected. To give you a deeper insight into what this looks like in practice, um, there's a short video which is titled A Day in the Life of an Employer, which you guys will be sent out a link to watch after our live session. So I highly recommend you guys watch that link alongside the other links that will be sent to you as well. Okay, now let's talk about the specific responsibilities employees hold, ensuring workplace health and safety. Employers are at the forefront of creating a safe work environment and must adhere to legal obligations to protect their employees. Firstly, employers are responsible for providing safe workplaces. This includes ensuring that all methods of work and equipment are safe to use, implementing policies and procedures to safeguard employees' rights, and providing personal protective equipment where necessary. These measures are designed to eliminate or minimize hazards and ensure everyone has the tools they need to perform their tasks safely. Secondly, employers must consult workers on WHS issues and changes. This means engaging with employees when developing or updating safety policies, introducing new equipment or procedures, and addressing identified risks. Open communication ensures that employees feel heard and allow for collaboration in creating safe work environments. These responsibilities are critical to fostering a culture where safety is a shared priority. By fulfilling these obligations, employers not only comply with legal requirements, but also demonstrate care and respect for their teams. Now let's turn our attention to employee duties and rights. While employers have significant responsibilities for ensuring workplace health and safety, like I've spoke about, employees also play a critical role in maintaining a safe environment. Now let's break that down into key points highlighted here. First, employees must follow all directions for safe work. This means adhering to policies, procedures, and instructions provided by your employer to minimize risks. Next, employees are required to only use equipment they are trained to use and ensure that this is used correctly. This helps prevent accidents and injuries caused by improper use or unfamiliar with the tools or machinery provided. Another essential responsibility is to use PPE equipment as provided. PPE is a vital layer of defensive against workplace hazards, and it's important to wear and maintain it according to instructions. Employees should also participate in consultation regarding workplace health and safety, whether it's attending meetings, providing feedback, or reporting hazards. Your input is invaluable in shaping a safe work environment. Another point there, before we move on, is to cease unsafe work if they believe their health or safety is at risk. This is a legal right designed to protect you and others from potential harm. So it's important to know the process for reporting such situations and seek guidance when needed. As we continue our discussion on workplace health and safety, um, let's now focus on workplace hazards. The image that you can see serves as a stark reminder that hazards can come in any forms, some obvious and others more subtle. Recognizing and addressing these hazards is a key part of ensuring a safe and productive work environment. Workplace hazards can be broadly categorized in several types, such as physical hazards, chemical hazards, biological hazards, hazards, psychosocial hazards, such as stress, workplace bullying or harassment, environmental hazards as well. And so every hazard, no matter how small it may seem, has the potential to cause harm if not addressed. Recognizing hazards is the first step, but reporting and mitigating them through appropriate controls is equally important. Let's take a moment to define what we mean by workplace hazard. A hazard is essentially an aspect of work that has the potential to cause harm, injury, or illness. It's important to understand where hazards can arise so we can identify and address them more effectively. Hazards can stem from several aspects of work, which include the physical work environment, equipment, material, and substance use, work tasks, and how they are performed. So some tasks may be inherently hazardous due to the physical or mental demands they place on workers. Repetitive movements, heavy lifting, tasks required intense concentration can result in injuries or errors. Work design and management. This relates to how work is structured, scheduled, and overseen. Poorly designed workflows, excessive workloads, or unclear roles and responsibilities can contribute to stress, fatigue, and accidents. By understanding these sources of hazards, we can then better evaluate risks and implement better control measures to keep ourselves and our colleagues safe. It's important to remember that hazards aren't always visible, so being proactive and vigilant is very important. So here on your scene, you'll see a slide, you'll see an outline of common hazards, breaking them down into 5 key areas along with practical examples of each. So the first one, manual hazards. So these tasks arise from physically demanding activities. Examples include sustained or awkward postures, high or sudden force, repetitive movement, vibration. Gravity, so hazards related to the effect of gravity can lead to serious injuries. Examples include falling objects, tools or materials dropping, falls of people, slips or trips. The next one there is psychosocial hazards. These involves risk to mental health and workplace relationships. Examples may include excessive time pressure, bullying and harassment, violence, and work-related fatigue. Electrical hazards can pose several severe risks, as we all know. Example is exposure to live electrical wires. Working with machinery can be dangerous as well if not handled properly. Examples include being hit by moving vehicles, being caught in moving parts of machinery. Each of these hazards highlight the importance of awareness, proper training, and the use of safety equipment to mitigate risks. As you consider these examples, think about your workplace. Have you encountered any of these hazards? How were they addressed? And could the response be improved? Continuing with that exploration of working hazards, this slide highlights additional categories of hazards and provides specific examples for each once again. These types of hazards can often be overlooked, but equally important to address for a safe work environment. I'll give you guys a moment to have a look at that. So, hazardous chemicals, extreme temperatures, noise, radiation, and biological. Okay, so this is another video that we highly recommend you guys to watch in your own time. So the physical demand of taking care of people. So whether you're in youth work, in healthcare, mental health, aged care, childcare, or any other role involving manual handling, you will likely to be familiar with the strain these activities can place on your body. The quote on the slide highlights a key issue. Core stability is one of the biggest issues in manual handling. So taking care of people often involves tasks like lifting, repositioning, or assisting individuals who may have limited mobility. While these tasks are essential, they can lead to injuries if not performed correctly. Poor posture, lack of proper training, and repetitive movements can cause strain on your back, neck, shoulder, and other areas. Now, let's define an important concept in workplace health and safety, which is risk. While hazards are potential sources of harm, risk is about understanding the likelihood and severity of the harm occurring. When we talk about risk, we focus on three key factors: harm, likelihood, and severity. So when it comes to harm, what kind of injury, illness, or damage could occur? From example, the harm could range from minor bruises to serious injuries or long-term health impacts. Understanding the potential consequences is the first step in assessing risks. Next, likelihood. What is the probability of the harm occurring? Some hazards might pose a high risk because they are encountered frequently or under unsafe conditions. Severity. If harm does occur, how severe will this be? Severity could mean physical injuries, psychological or trauma, financial losses, or even fatalities. Um, Standing at the edge of the cliff symbolizes the potential for harm, as you can see on the image. The likelihood of falling and the severity of the outcome if fall were to occur. By evaluating risk in terms of these three factors, harm, likelihood, and severity, we can prioritize when risks to address first and determine the most effective control measures. Let's consider a practical example to illustrate how risk is assessed. The image on the slide shows a sign warning of a shark sighting with a note that reads, "Enter water at own risk." The situation prompts us to think critically about two key aspects. How likely is it? So a swimmer entering the water will encounter a shark. Or the next point will be the likelihood depends on factors like recent sightings, time of day, and the swimmer's proximity to deeper waters where sharks may be present. Then we have to look at how severe is the injury likely to be. So if a encounter does occur, what is the potential outcome? In this case, the severity could range from minor injuries to life-threatening consequences, making it a high severity risk. This example demonstrates how we can use the concept of likelihood and severity to evaluate risks. While the probability of encountering a shark might be relatively low, the severity of the potential harm elevates the overall risk, prompting precautions like the warning signs. Now let's take a closer look at how we determine the likelihood of risk occurring. These steps are very important in risk assessment as it helps us evaluate how probable it is that a hazard will lead to harm under specific circumstances. The table on this slide breaks down likelihood into five levels. Certain to occur. This means the event is expected to happen in most circumstances. Next one is very likely. This indicates that the event will probably occur in most circumstances. For instance, a wet floor in a busy hallway. Possible. So here the event might occur occasionally. For example, a loose cable on the floor could occasionally trip someone if not addressed. Then we have unlikely. This suggests that the event could happen, but it's not expected under normal circumstances. And then the last one there is rare. This refers to events that may happen only in exceptional or extreme circumstances. For example, an earthquake causing structural damage in a low risk area might be rare but not impossible. Now let's now that we've discussed or I've spoken about the likelihood, let's now explore the factors that influence how we estimate the likelihood of a risk occurring. Evaluating these factors help us make informed judgment and prioritize workplace safety. We can break that down by asking questions like how often. So consider how frequent the hazard is encountered. Next, how long? So the duration of the exposure also matters. Long exposure to hazards such as loud noise or extreme temperatures, for example. Then the current controls. So examine the effectiveness of existing safety measures. Are there controls in place to mitigate the hazard? Changes to organizations. So consider whether recent or upcoming changes, such as new equipment, staffing, or processes, could introduce a new risk or alter existing ones. Um, Working environment. So look at the context of the work. Is the environment crowded, poorly lit, or exposed to weather conditions? Actions and behaviors. So take into account how individuals interact with the hazard. Are workers following safety procedures? Finally, differences between individuals. Individual factors like experience, training, or physical conditions can also influence the likelihood of accidents. Let's have a look at determining the severity of hazards. So while likelihood assesses how probable it is the harm will occur, severity looks at the potential impact of the harm. So to evaluate severity, you need to consider the following questions. Could the hazard cause death, serious injuries, illness, or other minor injuries requiring first aid? For instance, exposure to radiation hazards, as depicted in the image, could result in severe outcomes like long-term health issues or in fatalities. On the other hand, a minor slip on a wet floor might only result in a bruise or minor cuts. The next question there is what factors could influence the severity of harm that occur? These factors include the nature of the hazard, the duration and intensity of exposure, or whether protective measures such as PPE are in place. Finally, is the harm immediate or um, is the harm immediate or cumulative? So some hazards cause immediate risk or immediate harm, like burns from a fire or cuts from a machine. Others, like exposure to low level of toxic chemicals or radiation, may result in uh, cumulative effects over time, such as chronic illness or conditions that only become apparent years later. Understanding severity is critical for prioritizing risks. High severity risks demand urgent attention and immediate action, regardless of their likelihood. All right, now let's take a moment to summarize what we've covered in today's session. We began by exploring legal rights and responsibilities. We discussed the roles and obligations of both employers and employees in creating and maintaining a safe workplace. Employers are required to provide safe systems of work, appropriate training, and necessary equipment. We also examined how collaboration and consultation between workers and employers can foster a safer work environment. Next, we delved into hazards and risks. We looked at practical examples. We looked at the kinds of hazards. So these key topics provide a foundation for understanding how we can work together to prevent injuries and illnesses in our workplaces. As we conclude, think about the main takeaways from today's session and how you can apply this knowledge in your own role or workplace. So this is the end of our session. I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you've got any questions, please reach out or reach out to SLO. And yeah, I'll see you guys during the live sessions where we will look into assessments for this unit also. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.